What is up, everybody? Ethan Newbear, the Ginger Runner, here for another gingerrunner.com review. Sorry about that face at the beginning of this review. It was terrifying. Today I'm reviewing a shoe that has a new update for this year. It's from a brand that I reviewed in the past, Pearl Izumi. It is the Pearl Izumi Road N2 version 3 2016 edition. In case you did not know, I reviewed a previous version of the shoe, in fact, last year's version. You can actually watch that review by clicking the link up there if you want to see it, because honestly, this update is not drastically different by any means from the previous version. I'm going to get that out in the open right now. However, I had to confirm that, so I put a number of miles in the shoe, gave it a good once-over. It is known as a neutral trainer, a responsive shoe, ready for the short, fast distances or long slogs out there on roads or light trails. I was curious if this new version could live up to my expectations from the previous version, which I really liked, and the previous version before that, which I really liked. So let's get on with this thing. I'm going to tell you all about the things I like and dislike about the Pearl Izumi Road N2 version 3, starting with things that I like. Responsive. The shoe remains responsive. Their midsole material, the EVA that they're using, is a nice, tight, bouncy material. It's not going to give you a ton of cushioning, but sometimes when you're trying to move fast, propel yourself forward, that midsole material needs to be a bit more responsive, and luckily the Pearl Izumi Road N2 has that. It's fun and fast. Durable. I've actually been fairly pleased with the durability of the Pearl Izumi shoes. I have over 50 miles in the shoe, actually closer to 60 miles, and so far things are looking good. Granted, a lot of those miles are on the road. I'm not really tearing them up on the trails. I have done some trail running. Overall, it's been on roads and it's holding up well. No seams fraying, mesh splitting, anything like that. Rubber's holding up good. Nice. I like the looks. I gotta give it to Pearl Izumi. They make a damn good looking shoe, and the yellow version of this is fire. And I have officially changed my lingo to that of a 15-year-old. Sick bra. And finally, the upper. In version 2, they decided to incorporate 3D mesh printing, all sorts of high-tech gadgetry to update and simplify their upper. That's carried over into version 3. In fact, just by appearance and looking at the outside of the upper, it's highly simplified. But really why I like the new upper, they've incorporated some of that 3D printing technology to the medial side of the interior of the upper, allowing the shoe to nicely grip the arch of your foot in comfort and glory. So yeah, upper's fairly simple, me likey. And now let's get on with the things that I dislike. The drop. I noticed this in the second version. In the third version, it's also very noticeable with an 8mm drop. You wouldn't think it would be too noticeable. I am used to and prefer a lower stack height shoe. This with an 8mm drop is noticeable. I found myself really beginning to hate just dragging my heel around. Felt really weighted back there. The ride changes from back to front. I do know that their N1 and N0 shoes have lower drops, and that the shoes are supposed to dynamically change drops through your step, which I think is just marketing talk. But all in all, the 8mm drop was highly noticeable. Felt more like a 10 to 12mm drop. Bummer. Minor changes. Now what I mean is that this update hasn't really changed much from the previous update, which isn't a bad thing in many cases. However, I felt like the previous version could use some fixes. I had a couple of issues with some certain things, including being too responsive, not cushioned enough, being heavy, etc. None of the issues were really fixed or changed, because now that they have the N0, N1, N2, N3, M2, and M3 versions, you would think that they would differ those versions up with more cushioning, basically giving the runner different ride options. Everything just kind of begins to feel the same because they're using a lot of the same materials. That's it. Size. Just a note, you will have to size up about a half size. I had to in this shoe, and it has worked out great since. So just a little heads up. And finally, weight. I don't know how, but the shoe got heavier. 11.4 ounces in this, a size 11.5, which I think is a whale of a shoe. Plenty of places where it can trim the weight, and in the next version, I hope that they will. So that is it for dislikes about the Pearl Izumi Road N2 version 3. All in all, I still love running in this shoe, as I did with the previous version, but really with the first version. It is a great road shoe. It's nice and fun. It's fast. It's responsive. You can get past some of those faults, especially weight. You have a fun package here. So let's move on to the points. Quality. I'm always liking what Pearl Izumi is putting out. I think the quality is fairly decent. 4 out of 5. Comfort, as I mentioned, it's a responsive ride. It's not really cushioned. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. It's a borderline 3 out of 5 for me. With a shoe that is this high up in stack height and millimeter drop, you would expect it to be a bit more cushioned, but I will round up to 4. Price at $120, I think that's a bit high. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. And the best thing, you can get the previous versions on sale for about half that. You're essentially getting the same shoe, just a different look. So jump on it. Finally, looks. They make good looking shoes. 4 out of 5. That brings our grand total of 15 out of 20 for the Pearl Izumi Road N2 version 3. I think it's an interesting update because it's not much of an update at all. I really enjoyed the second version, the third version basically the same. So again, if you'd like to go watch that review, click up there. If you have any more questions about this shoe, or you want to get a pair of your own or get a previous version of your own, there is a link in the description. I have partnered up with Running Warehouse, so make sure you use the coupon code also listed in the description to get 10% off almost everything in the store. Use it, abuse it, you're the best. What about you? Have you run the Pearl Izumi Road N2 version 3 or even version 2? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this shoe. And that is it for today's review. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/thegingerrunner. I'm on all the social networks. Over on Twitter, it's @thegingerrunner, Facebook, facebook.com/thegingerrunner. On Instagram, it's at Ethan Newberry. And of course, gingerrunner.com. Every single Monday, I'm doing live shows here with guests, so you want to tune in for that. And if you would like to help keep the lights on and contribute to everything that we have going on here at gingerrunner.com with some good perks on the back end, go to patreon.com/thegingerrunner. Get out there, train hard, race harder, party hardest. I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.